This is a continuum of the book that I'm reading over, part 2, The Dance of Life. And it's the first chapter. Matter is multidimensional. The physics in the web of relationship called dualities, which indicate everything is made of dynamic information fields that are all connected to one another. Each part of an atom has a counterpart in hyperspace. Basically, what I think that they're calling hyperspace is your full potential. You are here having your experience when you know you could do better. Everybody else may see a better potential in you, but you can't see it in yourself. You can see it in others, but you can't see it in yourself. And it's accessing this hyper space, this full potential of who you're supposed to be. Here you're sort of trapped into a box of what you think you're supposed to be, but you actually, and it is your least potential self. But if you access your full potential self, you know that I in you, the thing that makes you who you are, that is from hyperspace. The perfection of you does exist. You just don't know how to tap into it. Then it gets into P-brains in a way that it explains why we can't relate to each other. And a lot of the ways that it's explained in here is like P-brains are, one brain is viewing your world with just particles with height. 2 brain world is viewing it with a particle with height and width. 3 is height, width, and depth. 4 is 3-dimensional objects. 5 is 3-dimensional objects moving in time. And they are saying that there's over 10 dimensions. I'm kind of objecting with that to a certain extent, because I think there needs to be another term to make this evolutional jump, because it's still, like, some people can, most of the biggest technology that we're using uses different P-brains, more than just 3-dimensional objects. To be able to understand magnetism, for one, you can't see it. You can't, you are not looking at a wave that's visible through the eye. But people that understand magnetics can see the field perfectly, where me and you can't. So when you're having a conversation with somebody, it all depends on how they view their world. If you view your world from a different P-brain perspective, then somebody that doesn't have that same awareness as you won't have a clue of what you're talking about, which is to the greatest extent of why I can't communicate that effectively anymore. It's almost like I've educated or become more aware of systems that other people can't see. And I assume you can see the same thing as me. So when I start talking about something, I think for the greatest part that you see the same things as I see, and you don't. So you will see that I'm wrong. Meanwhile, I'm seeing that what you see is wrong, because I'm seeing it from a totally different perspective than you. So, and this is where we all are right now, is we've improved our communication skills, with the internet, telephone. We're communicating more information more now than any other time, and we're starting to realize that we're not seeing the same things. And that makes, this was explained a lot as to why I think people lie. And this is why, get rid of your hate, because you'll never ever see the same world as everybody else as long as you're hating everybody. You just got to see that we're developing an awareness, and some of us aren't aware, and some of us are too well aware And it just seems like the more, if you feel you are more aware than somebody else, you think you know it all. But there's going to be somebody that knows more than you. You may assume that they know less than you, but they know more than you, and you won't know. So it's a tricky game that is surprising, humans having killed each other just because of our misunderstandings and what we see in reality. And a lot of it has to do with these pea-brains. And to cure the friggin' world, it means, like, just give everybody a massive university course in how we perceive the world, because that's all science is they discover something which changes the way you perceive everything. And that's why I don't think that we're going to see our world as so round in years to come, because it's not round. It's more of a dynamic world that's held together through vibrations and magnetism, push-pull. So let me see, that gets into a lot of that. There's a lot of mathematical figures or formulas and stuff. Implicit order of consciousness. That part gets into how, like, once you develop a higher perspective to view, your consciousness gets more awareness of itself, basically. That's a hard one to explain. It's really worth reading this book. Yeah, that's pretty much the implicit order of consciousness. Is more, the more we understand these pea-brains, the more we understand how to view our world, all, seeing the same thing, then we're going to get world peace. But until then, it's a struggle just to try and figure out what page we're all on. But that's the first chapter of this. The second one gets into more of his experiences with the Russian military. I don't know so much if you need to know, like, it's well worth reading the book, but I don't think I would do it much justice giving his experiences dealing with Russia. But I'll probably go into the holodynamics of human consciousness. 3 forms of matter: the particle form of matter, the wave form of matter, 3 forms of consciousness: particle consciousness, wave consciousness, holodynamic consciousness. Particle solutions, the wave solution, holodynamic solutions. There's huge topic there. Polarized dance. So those are a few things that I'll hit on tomorrow in tomorrow's chapter. The angle with flippers, angel with flippers, the dance of physics, Arizona biosphere, the dance of separation. It's a long chapter. The solution of mental illness, that's a big chapter. Particle dimension of therapy, the wave dimension of therapy, holodynamics of therapy, divinization, making things divine. It's a massive chapter. So I'll get into that one tomorrow, because I'm going to be reading every chapter before I do these videos. But by no means am I going to be doing this book any justice explaining it. It's well worth the read yourself, because he does get into so much more than what I discuss. It's, as far as I'm concerned, this guy should be winning a Nobel Peace Prize. I mean, to know what this guy's had to experience to know this stuff. The only problem is he doesn't believe his own shit, which I find is really funny. You know, like, he's cured every illness based on the concept that there's a cause to everything. Cure the causes, you cure the problem. And all of science ends up solving problems by doing it that way, but we don't want to share that knowledge with other people. But still, he ended up getting poisoned with high-grade uranium, cured himself of that, but then got a heart problem. And it's like, okay, how can you cure everybody else's heart problem, but not your own? And he gets into how to heal his own heart, not by how do you heal your heart, but how everybody's heart can get healed. But yet he doesn't do that himself. And I would think that if you write these books, you'd want it on a bestsellers list. These books are over 20 years old. So how come it's not on a bestsellers list if he didn't see it as a problem and use this tool to solve that problem? So there are many different contradictions that I see in reading this book, and that contradiction is only that he doesn't believe his own work. Because I can't find any contradiction in the body of the work, other than it can't identify the unknown problem, which is anything you complain and make an excuse about. It is you. But you separate yourself from problems and think it's somebody else. So that's why you don't walk into the solution of it, because you don't believe in yourself. You don't believe that you participate in it. You can't conceive how you're holding the game up. You're sustaining everything that's wrong while you're blaming other people. And while you think that we need to, you know, get rid of politicians and these elites, it's like the only power they have is the power you hand over to them. When you take your own power back and use your own full potential, if everybody knew about their full potential, we wouldn't have this global problem. But that's why I'm kind of against RAMSA, for one, is one of them, where you can't even take their courses without signing copyrights that you'll never speak about what you learn in there, which is a high example of, you know, all of these professionals, motivational speakers. They want you to know more information than other people. So why? So because you know more, you can take advantage of other people. That's why I do my channel free. I'd rather not charge money for this, because I think all aspects, especially ones that can't afford information, should gain this information more than the wealthy people that can afford to pay for it, so that you won't be taken advantage of. Anyways, hope you enjoyed that first chapter review. I know I probably suck at doing it, which is why I probably haven't done it until now. But it'd be nice if somebody else read that book and we can go back and forth and have more of a book discussion with other people and get your perspectives on it. That I would very much enjoy. Peace out.